everyone. My name is Melissa Proffitt, and I'm the Education and Communication Specialist for the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District. And today, we are talking all things bats. Now, across the globe, there are over 1,250 species of bats. Most of them are small microbats that eat insects. But about 200 species of bat are large megabats that are mainly fruit eaters. The size of these bats ranges greatly, from the large golden-crowned flying fox of the Philippines that has a wingspan of about 6 feet, all the way down to the bumblebee bat of Thailand, which only has a wingspan of about 6 inches. But whether it's the large bats or the small bats, they have a similar morphology. One of the most common facts people know about bats is that they are the world's only flying mammal. And in fact, the name of the order they come from give us a clue as to how they're able to fly. Bats are in an order called Chiroptera, which simply means hand wing. And if we think about the wing of a bat, it is very analogous to the bone structure of our hand, unlike the bone structure of, say, a bird's wing. When we think about the wing of a bat, it's simply 5 phalanges with skin stretched between them, giving them the webbing that allow air to push on the wing, giving them this flight ability. If we look at the anatomy of the human hand, you can see that we have the arm bones, the humerus, radius, ulna, connected to the carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges of the hand. When compared to the anatomy of the bat wing, you can see that the arm bones are shorter, and in fact the phalanges and carpals and metacarpals are extended. So it's basically like if our fingers grew really, really long and had skin between them. Bats are basically flying by using their hands and wings. While the wings are flapping, bats can go up or down by moving the membrane between the body and 5th finger. Bats move forward by changing the shape of the membrane between the 2nd and 5th finger. Having powered flight from these modified forelimb and fingers is what separates the bats from other types of mammals. But the anatomy of the bat also goes farther. For instance, they have ears that are good for hearing, helps them to locate their food, and helps mothers locate their babies. They have an excellent sense of smell to find food and recognize their young and roost mates. Their eyes are better at seeing in the dark, because believe it or not, bats are not blind, though most do see objects in black and white. Their feet have strong claws, and it's what gives them the ability to hang upside down. This is Hiccup, an Egyptian fruit bat that lives at the Boonshoft Museum of Discovery. As you can see, he is very comfortably hanging upside down while enjoying a fruit treat. Now, Egyptian fruit bats are the smallest of the megabats, and they are the only megabat that echolocates the way that our native microbats do. We will discuss echolocation a little bit later. The ability to hang upside down is another common trait known about bats. If we think about us hanging upside down for an extended period of time, we would get a head rush. But bats have a special circulatory system that prevents the blood from rushing and pooling in their head and allows them to stay upside down. They also save energy by hanging upside down. If we were to open our hand and then close our fingers to make a fist, we actually are engaging muscles to cause the closure. However, the tendons in bats' feet work a little differently. It takes them effort to actually open their feet. So when they hang upside down, the weight of their own body is what closes their claws, allowing them to hang. So they're not exerting any energy at all to hang there. When they're ready to take flight again, that's when they engage their muscles and take off. This is one reason that we find bats hanging upside down high up. One, this higher location keeps them safe from potential predators, but also it allows them to catch the wind as they take off from that hanging position. Because unlike birds, the skeleton of the bat would not support the bat from sitting upright on its legs. Now, one of our most common microbats in Ohio is called the big brown bat. That's right, he's called the big brown bat. Now, while he might not look very large, he gets his name because there's a little brown bat that's a little bit smaller in size. But this is, on average, the typical size of the bats we will see here in Ohio. Being insect eaters, our microbats use echolocation. Now, echolocation is what has led to that myth of bats being blind. It's not that bats cannot see with their eyes, they can. However, our insect-eating bats have another technique to catch their food. In order to catch these small, fast-flying insects, microbats use echolocation. This is a sonar-level sound that's used to determine the location of objects like their prey. Bats make mental maps to determine their whereabouts. By emitting high-frequency sound waves, bats can interpret these echoes that bounce back to them to find their way around even in total darkness when their eyesight cannot locate these tiny flying animals. Now, such frequencies from iPods, stereos, these are inaudible to humans. Same with the echolocation of the bat. However, we do have equipment where we can actually view a bat's echolocation patterns, and these are now vital to bat research. Now, it's actually pretty cool to see how these little bats are able to catch their prey once it's located. What they will do is they will use the tip of their wings here, and they will actually use it like a scoop. So as they're flying around, they'll locate the prey, zero in on it, and use the tips of those wings to flip the food back into their mouth. Eating all of these insects is an ecological service that bats provide to us. Think about all of the insects that we see, whether it's pesky mosquitoes or other insects. In a lab setting, microbats were determined that really motivated, hungry bats could eat up to 600 mosquitoes in 1 hour. Now, mind you, this was them in a lab setting with all these mosquitoes. But if we extrapolate that idea out into nature, right, they're definitely consuming a lot of insects every evening. So imagine how many bugs we would have if we did not have these microbats eating them. So not only are they eliminating pests, but they're also helping to save us money. Now, how many of you guys have ever enjoyed some corn on the cob, right? Corn on the cob, it's a summertime favorite. Well, microbats, they actually help the corn industry save billions of dollars every year by eating insects that harm the corn crop. So not only does it help to save the crop, but it also saves the farmers money because they don't have to invest as much into things like pesticides. Using less pesticides is better for the environment, and if the farmers save money, that savings gets passed down to the consumer. So these little bats are doing a lot of great things for us out in the world. I hope that you've enjoyed learning a little about bats with me today. Bats have gone through a lot of cultural misunderstandings, from misconceptions about all bats carry rabies, all bats are vampire bats that drink blood, all bats are blind, bats will get tangled in my hair. What's important to realize is that the more we study and understand bats, the more we realize that these misconceptions are false. We now know that bats are intelligent creatures that are doing a lot of good ecological and economical services for us right here in Ohio.